St. Elara's church stood at the edge of a small, forgotten village, its Gothic spires piercing the stormy sky. For years the church had been abandoned, its once vibrant stained-glass windows now covered in grime, and its grand wooden doors left to rot. The village kept its distance, whispering about the horrors said to haunt the sacred ground. One stormy night, Eleanor, an amateur photographer with a penchant for the paranormal, arrived at the village. Drawn by the legends of St. Elara's, she was determined to capture its eerie essence. The locals warned her against it, but their caution only fueled her curiosity. Armed with her camera and a sense of adventure, Eleanor made her way to the church. As she approached, the storm intensified. Lightning illuminated the towering structure, revealing fleeting glimpses of grotesque gargoyles and twisted statues. The wind howled through the trees, carrying with it a mournful melody that seemed to emanate from the church itself. Eleanor pushed open the heavy doors, their creak echoing through the empty nave. Inside, the air was thick with the scent of decay and mold. Broken pews lay scattered across the stone floor, and cobwebs adorned every corner. Despite the church's desolate state, Eleanor felt an unshakable presence, as if the very walls were watching her. She snapped a few photos, the flash briefly illuminating the darkness. As she ventured further, she heard the faint tolling of bells. It was impossible, she thought. The church bells had been silent for decades. The sound grew louder, resonating with an unnatural rhythm that seemed to synchronize with her heartbeat. She followed the sound to the bell tower, her steps echoing ominously on the worn stairs. At the top, she found the source of the haunting chimes. The bells, massive and ancient, swung on their own, their ropes untouched. Eleanor raised her camera, intending to capture the phenomenon, but the viewfinder revealed something more sinister. Shadowy figures danced in the lens, their eyes glowing with a malevolent light. She lowered the camera, but the figures were nowhere to be seen. A chill ran down her spine as the temperature plummeted. The bells tolling became deafening, drowning out her thoughts. She felt a cold hand grip her shoulder and spun around, but there was no one there. Panic set in and she stumbled back down the stairs, desperate to escape the oppressive atmosphere. The nave was no longer empty. Dozens of spectral figures filled the pews, their faces twisted in anguish. At the altar stood a tall, shadowy figure clad in a tattered cassock. Its hollow eyes locked onto Eleanor, and it raised a skeletal hand, pointing directly at her. The ghostly congregation rose in unison, their mouths opening in a silent scream. Eleanor fled, her heart pounding in her chest. The church doors slammed shut behind her, the mournful toll of the bells still ringing in her ears. She didn't stop running until she reached the village, breathless and trembling. The villagers knew by her haunted expression that she had encountered the true terror of St. Elara's. They told her of the curse that plagued the church, a priest who had once led the congregation into dark rituals, sealing their souls to the sacred grounds. Every night the bells tolled, calling the spirits to eternal service. Eleanor left the village the next morning, but the experience stayed with her. She never spoke of it, but sometimes, late at night, she could still hear the distant tolling of the bells of St. Elara's, a chilling reminder of the horrors that lurk in the forgotten corners of the world.